Have you ever noticed something deeply painful about human nature? The people you help the most. The people you sacrifice for. The people you stand beside when nobody else is there. Sometimes become the very people who hurt you the most. Strange, isn't it? You support someone when they're struggling. You encourage them when they feel lost. You give them your time, your energy, your attention, and sometimes even your own peace of mind. You expect nothing in return. Not money. Not favors. Not rewards. Maybe just a little respect. Maybe just a little gratitude. But instead, you get distance. You get coldness. You get betrayal. And suddenly you find yourself asking a question that has haunted countless people throughout history. Why? Why do some people turn against the person who helped them? Why does kindness sometimes create resentment instead of gratitude? Why do loyalty and sacrifice occasionally lead to rejection? Most people believe betrayal happens because someone is selfish, ungrateful, or simply a bad person. But Friedrich Nietzsche believed something much deeper was happening beneath the surface. Something most people never see. According to Nietzsche, the person who betrays you may not always hate you because of what you did wrong. Sometimes, they hate the way your help makes them feel. Because every favor you gave them, every time you rescued them, every time you stood above their weakness and offered support, you unintentionally reminded them of something they desperately wanted to forget. Their dependence, their vulnerability, their inability to stand on their own. And for certain people, that feeling becomes unbearable. Instead of gratitude, they feel inferior. Instead of appreciation, they feel ashamed. And over time, that shame quietly transforms into resentment. This is one of the most brutal truths about human relationships. A truth that explains countless broken friendships, failed partnerships, damaged family bonds, and painful betrayals. In this video, we're going to uncover Nietzsche's powerful insight into gratitude, ego, resentment, emotional debt, dependency, and the hidden psychology behind betrayal. You'll discover why some people secretly resent those who help them. Why emotional debt can damage relationships. Why good intentions don't always produce good outcomes. And how to help others without sacrificing your own dignity, peace, and self-respect. What you're about to hear may challenge everything you've been taught about kindness and loyalty. But once you understand it, many of the betrayals in your life will suddenly make sense. So pay very close attention. And don't miss the final part of this video. Because without understanding that final lesson, you'll never fully understand Nietzsche's most important warning about helping others wisely. So, let's begin. Number 1, the hidden humiliation in helping. To get to the bottom of this kind of betrayal, we have to start with a truth that might make you uncomfortable. Giving and receiving serious help is never a simple, neutral exchange. It's a power transaction. When you help someone who's really in a bad spot, you are, even with the best intentions, in the position of power. You have the stability, the resources, the strength. They, by definition, are in a position of weakness and need. On the surface, it's all about compassion. But underneath, in the deep, dark corners of the ego, something else is at play. The person getting help isn't just receiving a gift. They're also being handed a constant, nagging reminder that they weren't strong enough on their own. You, the helper, become a walking monument to their lowest point. You're the mirror that shows them their former, weaker self. And while they might feel grateful at first, nobody likes looking in that mirror forever. This isn't something they think about consciously. It's a quiet, creeping feeling of shame, of being indebted. An emotional debt is created. But unlike money, there's often no clear way to pay it back. How can you ever truly repay someone for pulling you out of despair? How do you balance the scales when one person was the savior and the other was the one who needed saving? The simple, hard answer is, you can't. And that's where the poison starts to drip. Number 2, when gratitude decays into resentment. Nietzsche was a master at digging into the hidden motives behind our so-called virtues. He'd ask, "What is gratitude, really? And what happens when it goes sour?" Think of gratitude like it has a half-life. It's strong and genuine right after you've been helped. But over time, it decays. The memory of being desperate starts to fade. Their new, stronger reality becomes normal. The person you help doesn't even see themselves as that person in crisis anymore. There's someone new. And here's the brutal twist: your presence in their life messes with that new identity. You're a ghost from a past they're trying to bury. Your very existence proves they weren't always so independent. This is where simple gratitude curdles into something much, much darker. For this, Nietzsche chose to use a specific French word because the German for simple resentment wasn't enough: ressentiment. Ressentiment is a toxic brew of resentment, envy, and a thirst for revenge, born from a long-simmering feeling of powerlessness. It's the spiritual poison the weak create to cope with the existence of the strong. It's what happens when you have to suppress the feeling of wanting to get even because you know you can't. The person feeling ressentiment would never admit to being ungrateful. Instead, their mind plays an incredible trick on them, a personal version of what Nietzsche famously called as transvaluation of values. They unconsciously start to rewrite history. Suddenly, your strength isn't seen as a virtue, it's reframed as you being domineering. Your kindness wasn't a gift, it was a power play to make you feel superior. Your help wasn't selfless, it was a loan designed to keep them under your thumb. They recast their old weakness as a moral good. "I was just too trusting." And they paint your strength as a moral flaw. "Sure, he helped me, but he was always looking down on me. She was there for me, but she had to be in control." This is the story that ressentiment tells. It's a defense mechanism that lets the person in debt escape their feeling of inferiority, not by becoming stronger, but by mentally tearing you down. Number 3, betrayal as an act of power. So why does this spiral into actual betrayal? To get this, we have to touch on Nietzsche's most famous and misunderstood idea, the will to power. The will to power isn't just about dominating other people. At its core, it's the fundamental drive in all living things to grow, expand, overcome resistance, and express their own strength. It's the drive for self-mastery. When you're in a position where you desperately need help, your will to power is being squashed. You aren't overcoming anything, you're being rescued. In this dark psychological game, the act of betrayal becomes a twisted, desperate attempt to assert their will to power. By turning on you, the person you helped is trying to destroy the living proof of their own powerlessness. It's a symbolic act to kill the witness to their shame. If they can hurt you, if they can prove you're not some untouchable saint, they can finally, in their own minds, be free of that emotional debt. They aren't just pushing you away, they're trying to reclaim their own power. The betrayal is their attempt to rewrite the end of the story, a story where they were once the helpless one. In this new ending, they're the one holding the cards, with the power to hurt, to reject, and to walk away. It's a destructive way to feel powerful, but it's an assertion of power nonetheless. This doesn't excuse their actions. It explains them. The betrayal was never really about you. It was about them and their inability to accept help without feeling permanently inferior. Number 4, the art of helping without getting burned. So, what's the takeaway here? Should you just become a cynic and never help anyone again? No. That would be letting ressentiment win. The lesson here isn't to stop helping. The lesson is to help wisely. The goal is to be a launchpad for their own strength, not a permanent crutch. Here are a few principles to keep in mind. First, help without keeping score. The second you help someone just to be liked, to be owed, or to feel superior, you've poisoned the exchange. Help because it's what you want to do, and then let it go. Help from a place of genuine abundance, not from a need to be needed. Second, empower them, don't just rescue them. The cliché is teach a man to fish, but it's more than that. Help them in a way that makes them realize they had the fishing rod all along. The best kind of help is the kind that makes itself unnecessary. One approach creates dependency and resentment, the other creates real strength. Third, and this is crucial, never, ever throw it back in their face. The moment you say, After everything I did for you, you've just turned a gift into a weapon. You've handed them a bill. And nobody feels loyal to a debt collector. And finally, learn to tell the difference between people who are strong and people who have a fragile ego. A strong person can accept help knowing it's a temporary situation, not a character flaw. But for someone with a fragile sense of self, a big act of help can feel like an attack on their identity. It's not your job to fix them, but it is your job to protect your own energy. This is a tough pill to swallow because it cuts against everything we want to believe about kindness. But understanding this dynamic is a superpower. If this idea sheds light on a painful experience you've had, and you want more tools to understand the hidden forces of psychology and philosophy, stick around and subscribe. We dig into this stuff every week. And if you know someone who's been through this, share this with them. Ultimately, you can't control how someone else will receive your generosity. You can't stop the seeds of ressentiment from growing in a soul that's determined to feel wronged. But you can change how you see it. The betrayal wasn't a measure of your failure, it was a sign of their inner battle. It was a painful lesson, but also a powerful one. It teaches you to be more discerning with your energy and to understand the complicated, often dark, machinery of the human heart. Let this knowledge free you from confusion and self-blame. You offered your strength with an open heart. That says everything about your character. Let their reaction say everything about theirs. Move forward not with a hardened heart, but with a wiser one. Keep being a force for good, but do it with the clear-eyed wisdom of someone who knows that even the brightest light can cast the darkest of shadows.